I'm not happy of no share. Don't think so.
Aim is to be big, man.
Yeah?
Aim is What's
The aim
wrong?
is to be big.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I
No.
thought that's already accomplished.
No.
You want to be bigger, like
Come on.
Bigger than big.
Come
like,
on right now.
How big do you want to be big?
Come on right now. Come on right now. Prof Karen, usile skoleni wenza ziphi subjects uProvox?
Aye. You say you want to be big.
Yeah.
Does your wife know you want to be big?
Well, she should know.
Alkali?
Is she
No,
okay
are you
with
really? Like, is that a trick to your mind?
Is she
No.
okay with you being big?
No, there's difference between being big and fat. I don't want to be fat, I want to be big. Right? And not even point of view. My name must be big. By the way, you spoke about the power of a name. We're going to come to that one. But there's this conversation that we're having right now. Very
We're
interesting.
gonna come to the name.
Yeah, the power of a name.
Oh,
Yeah. So I was talking about like...
the power of a name.
Yeah, but there's like you have to be a
I
big
thought we
name.
wanted to talk about somebody's name.
Oh, Jesus. There's power in the name. Yeah, we will. We can.
Oh,
We do
boys.
it. And that'll be a sermon on its own. But look, like on that picture there, we see a library, and in that library, Upravox taught himself.
You think the righteous take it by force? It land? What's that scripture?
The righteous suffereth violence.
Oh,
No. And the righteous take it up.
No.
Okay.
Don't tell me that you can quote that scripture. Come on, Zanwani.
You
Come
try.
on, preacher's kid.
Yeah,
Come on, preacher's kid.
Remember what done?
Come on, preacher's kid.
Remember what happened last time? We put up the
No.
a quote scripture. What here? Remember? The time and went.
Quote.
No, I don't know that. I never knew that verse from the word go, but I've heard it a lot of times. Like there's never been one of those scriptures that stay within me like those.
But you happen to be a bishop's kid.
I am a bishop's kid, but BK. Yeah, I can't know everything is my belief. I can't.
Which scripture do you know?
I know a lot. I know a lot of scriptures.
Name one.
Come on, Proverbs 16 verse 3. I can also give you Romans 12 verse 2. Which one else do you want? I can also give you Psalms 2 verse 8.
Anyone can go to Romans 12:1. So,
Yeah, anyone. But you said you want one.
okay.
But by the way, as I was saying, with Upravox, he learned mathematics algebra. I think Upravox is probably the only person I know who taught himself algebra. But besides that, in that library at NU9, and then you're asking about the subjects that he did. Provoking just like what? At grade 2.
No. You're in township. Your parents, they want to do better things for you. They decided to take you to the multiracial school. Kwelibas. You leave school in Motherwell. You leave school in Motherwell. You go to the multiracial school.
You speak English.
Your parents are paying a lot of money for you to go to a multiracial school because they want a better education for you. And you decide?
What's up? Provox can't like. What's up?
no, Look, in all honesty, I did not like school. I did not like school. I did not enjoy school. For many different reasons. But, so I went up by high school, my friends, my crew. When we looked at different subjects, in standard 6, 7 subjects are standard.
Yeah.
Then we were thinking for standard 8, what's going to happen? Let's look for the easiest. Yeah, so my maths teacher for standard 7, that guy. You know what he did one day? He wanted sting bomb. Yeah.
Lay plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took sting bomb. Yes, as this guy came in, the class was smelling. Walked out. So for me, I mean, was just looking for an easier way.
And you started that whole thing?
No, I was amongst.
Oh, okay.
So, standard 8, we thought to go to, how difficult can typing be? How difficult can home economics be?
Wait. Home economics, you mean like cooking?
Home economics is more than cooking.
Yeah.
But it's more than cooking. But
like you go and start like, okay, for you to make a cake.
And I could have been a world-renowned chef. You know that guy, the salt guy.
Yes.
That guy is a multi-millionaire.
So that's the guy with the steak?
Yeah. That guy cooks not just for everyone. He can't cook for you. He cook for people who's got lots of money.
But now it's big.
Yeah, now it's big. Yeah.
Now it's big. Yeah, you can't undermine Neo like that. Neo is big.
Okay, so that guy can cook for you.
Oh no! I know Chicago. That's too quick. that's too quick. If you say how, no, that.
Okay, let's go back to home economics.
So home economics is more than just cooking, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. See, here's the thing, man. All the other guys who were doing the science stream, economics stream, and whatever, those guys used to laugh at us, man, because we're doing home economics. And guess what? We would cook in class. And we'd take the food home. In the bus, we'll be kings. The bus will smell nice, we'll just bake something nice. And then when they want a piece, like, hey, go eat your science. Go eat your experiment.
Yeah. But so I was home economics, typing and what?
So it was home economics, typing, geography, and biology. I think I only enjoyed geography. And then English and Afrikaans.
And so in grade 12, the tragedy happened.
Yeah?
Grade 12. What happened in grade 12?
And what?
Wait. Before we get to grade 12, Lonobo's parents decided that they want the best for Lonobo, and they sent him to multiracial school. They really knew that this chap was only there just because he was doing home economics.
That's food.
For food.
Is it because of the economic condition?
And looting.
Was he looting? No, let's be serious. No. And I think, okay, I want to also ask, when he was choosing those subjects, he gave Uprafox so he wanted the easiest thing to do, right? So what happened in grade 12? Like that's it. Kokona something there. What happened in grade 12?
My man, grade 12 was just a manifestation. Was from standard 8, 9, 10. You just hopping to the next grade.
Okay.
Hop to the next grade. It's not like you pass with flying colors.
So you mean you were one of those kids? For instance, if they say that 20 kids were supposed to pass,
the bottom
and they decided that, okay, let's add an extra 5 so that we can have 25 kids for the next grade. So you were in that 25.
Yeah. I tell you what subject I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed literature in English.
Okay.
Not the entire, just literature.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed literature.
So that, then which subject did you fail?
And what? When I do a trick, I failed typing. Yeah.
The one that you thought is easy.
Yeah. See, here's the problem. Typing is very difficult. You know what?
Okay.
You need to type 35 words per minute. If you can't do that, you're gonna fail typing. I don't even think I was doing 15. So that's typing. I failed typing. I think I got like 11% for the final. 11 or 12%.
Typing.
Yeah.
But where did they expect you to practice your typing? Because it's about speed, right? But like, where did they expect you to practice typing if you didn't have?
And it's you who chose typing.
Oh, at school.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's you.
Okay.
Look, if I was serious, I could have practiced in class.
Okay.
The facilities were there. Just that Yeah, we were doing the bare minimum, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. So then I failed typing, I failed biology, I passed geography, English, and then I failed Afrikaans.
What symbol did you get in geography?
Yeah, I think I got a D. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
At least that's a pass.
yeah.
You passed home economics first.
Home economics.
You passed.
Yeah.
With A.
No.
Bare minimum.
I think it was like an E or something. Something along there. So I went and got a supplementary. I actually failed 2 subjects. Yeah. No, the fail. Yeah, well, then you had almost F, then you got fail. So I went to do the supplementary for typing and biology. I passed biology. I failed typing again. Then I was like, my life is over. So, yeah.
Tell me, when you were choosing this subject, you were not seeing yourself going to tertiary. You didn't have any ambitions of furthering your studies.
Nah, none whatsoever. See, here's the thing, man. I've got cousins who were like ahead of me, you know. One of them passed his matric like flying colors. The dude was in the township. No work, no school. So I was like, what's the point, nigga? Because I mean, even area, yeah, we had 1 or 2, like I was swagger, people who were studying.
Like substance in non-run.
Yeah.
But in Jagazi, you didn't have any reference.
No, in Jagazi, I was a king boss. I was doing the trick.
Sure.
In Jagazi, if you have standard Sunday, I'll pull
You were a king.
So yeah, so I didn't really see the point. In fact, you know, it's standard 8. After standard 8, I applied to go to the Navy.
And so, by the way, as we are speaking, he's the most qualified. He has the highest qualification currently now, as we are speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the joke's on us. But let's leave that. He has a bachelor in construction management. Hey, I got a scam. God. If I look 10, go to the bachelor in quantitative surveying. But
you know, life is interesting. Life is a head game, Baba. Like 1st of September 2001, that's when I decided, you know what? Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a story that makes me laugh.
No, he's gonna tell us.
Like why he dropped out of us like
He's gonna tell us that uncle.
Hey, never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, man, life is a head game. Like it just took a decision. And I was like, no, man, what the hell, I wasted my time, you know. So I was regretting because I knew that I was not stupid. Just that I didn't care. So I knew that I'm not stupid, just that I did not care, you know. So I knew that if I had the right frame of mind.
What changed your mind? Was it more about what you saw at a later stage in life through the places you were in?
So it started here, man.
Sure.
So now after like matric, you spend a lot of time in school. People underestimate the power of or the influence of school. Spend a lot of time in school, very little time at home. So after matric, failed my matric. Now my friends in high school were no longer there. Everyone is carrying on with his own life. They're like, hey, now you are alone. The guys you were having fun with, were making fun of teachers and making fun of others, just making a mess in high school. They're no longer there now. You don't know what's going on in their lives, you understand?
And they don't know what's going on in your life.
Yeah, so, and then like, so now what? Now reality kicks in, now what? Because after matric, you're not really you're not a child anymore.
Sure.
So then, then I met people who were actually studying, who were doing matric that year, 2001. The following year, we were all going to tertiary. Others, already in tertiary. So I was like, yeah, man, I could have been like these guys now.
So there was a change of worldview.
Yeah, change of worldview. I changed my friends as well. So one of the reasons I left Nondroana and went to NUNI. Now remember, Nondroana, I was with my mom, so I can never say that in Nondroana, there were times where there was nothing to eat, right? I can never really, that was not the case, There was, yes, we were poor, but there was always something to eat, you understand? Just the basics, So now going to Ukwagogo, it's a different story, you understand? So I literally went to a worse situation because I was running away from an even bigger, from an even worse situation in terms of the people I was around, the environment. So I was willing to go back, so that I can be, have my own thoughts and not be influenced by, the wrong crews and so forth. Yeah, so that's where the whole thing started, and then from there on, I kept on meeting people who have got a different worldview, who are excited about life, wanting to achieve stuff, and so that helped me to believe, that hey, no, I can do this, no, I can do this, no, I can do this.
I have some family members that are in the township, right? And I have a very close cousin of mine. He passed his matric, and he could go to university. But I think, when you speak about university to him, in his mind, it's something far-fetched. He has the qualifications, but I think because in his environment, no one does that. Yeah. Immediately, you get your standard 10, you go to the call center, you look for piece jobs there and there.
Yeah. And
I know the potential that the guy has, you know what I mean? So, I'm going back to, what do we think, the structure of township living? What is it doing? Do you think that the township is a place where we should actually go and make better? Or is this the place where your initial endeavor should be to escape from such a place?
Hey, my man, it depends, right? Let me tell you my story.
Sure.
Right? So I left the township to go and study in East London, right? Came back, after graduation, after I worked for, a few months in East London, came back. And I saw a lot of potential as far as business-wise. Not only that, I was I started doing a lot of studies, what they call the township economy, right? I did a lot of studies, and I realized that there's so much, that can be done. So I started my business, Ekas. This thing, township economy, working with other entrepreneurs, whatever they were doing, and I said, promoting this thing of township economy. Up until I got robbed multiple times.
In the township?
In the township, right? And got robbed multiple times. People break into my office. Nobody knows anything yet. People know, you understand?
Okay.
So I decided, no, here, it's either I'm going to die, because sometimes robberies do go wrong, you understand? And I think the other trigger was when my younger brother died. He was stabbed. He was only 23 years old. So I was like, no, man, this thing is not. And growing up, I've seen people dying. I've literally seen people dying, right? So I was like, you know what? It seems to me that the only way here is I must actually get out of here. You understand? Because one, I did not want to expose my children to what I was seeing. You understand? I did not want them to being exposed to what I saw growing up.
Sure.
You understand? So I was like, the township is actually not getting better. Where I was, my township was not getting better, was actually getting worse. So, and I realized that you hardly find a, let's say, 30-year-old male in the township who's never been robbed. You won't find. Have you ever been robbed?
Yes.
So for me, I was like, it's beyond me. Let me go. In fact, I remember with Mac, my friend, we used to say this to each other, that, it seems like the ultimate pinnacle of success is if you don't have family in the township.
But, okay, quickly, also coming on this one. There's this thing on Twitter that has been going by now of Black Coffee, where someone is asking him, what are you doing for the community? You know, what are you doing for the township that is supporting you and stuff like that, you know? And there's this narrative of you have to give back, and people need to determine the way of you giving back, you know, to the community, you know, by sort of establishing better conditions there and stuff like that. Like, but then what does your response then come to such people who are saying, hey, guys, go back or build stuff there, guys, so that other brothers can, you know, can be pulled out of the guys and just be like you. You know, these are the guys that made you to be where you are today.
Okay, maybe Lona was going to talk a bit about that. Here's the thing: as a black child, for someone to say that you need to go back and give back to the community. First, you've got poor cousins, brothers in your family. There's so many people. When it comes to giving back, when it comes to a black child, it's who we are. Ubuntu, that's who we are. Like, for instance, chances you have cousins that are poor, that are always asking you for an airtime, that are always asking you for this and that, already you've got that burden. So for someone to come to you and tell you that you need to go back and give and give back to a gas, the first they must ask, what are you doing for your family? Because already you've got a burden of taking, as Lonobo was saying, of taking your family out of a toxic environment to an environment that is right, because you're protecting the next generation.
Sure.
Because you can talk to any individual. Every person has a selfish ambition, so that it's me, myself, and my family. As I've said to you yesterday, that there are three most important people in my life. It's me, it's my wife, it's my child. Those are the three most important people in my life. Before I take care of anyone else, I need to take care of those people.
Sure.
And those people, they are looking up to me, because if I have failed them, the history will remember me as a failure. So that's why not only to protect them now, even for the second and the third generation. That's a burden that we have. Until a black child has succeeded that, even people that are saying this thing to Black Coffee, do they know Black Coffee's family? They don't even know Black Coffee's family, because you've got that burden. Let alone that your nuclear family, you've got cousin, you've got relative people that your mother's cousin, your dad's cousin. Our black family is huge, and all those people, when you succeed, they look up to you. What can you do for us?
So here's another side to it. It's all good and well for people to say, you must go and give back and right. You know, you understand their point, but now here's the thing. This thing is the same mentality of saying, I just finished my matric. The government must do something about that.
Yes.
The government must give me a job. The government must pay for my education. The government must do this for me. You understand? So it's an entitlement mentality that needs to change, because that entitlement mentality actually cripples us from our own potential. You understand? So I always make this example. When I was in tertiary, you know, the 3,000 my mother had to go and borrow for me to register and pay rent for 1 month, you understand? You know, it was, when she got it, after having asked so many different people, it was in an envelope, you know, a mixture of 20 rand, 100 rand, 50 rand, 10 rands, you understand? She borrowed that money, you know, machonis, what we call it, mali zalai, you understand? So now that's how I got to share. But despite that, whenever there were protests, and back then, NSFAS was not paying your entire, you know, they were just paying maybe 60% of the tuition fees. You must make a plan, right? Because there was only so much money and has to cover everyone. So now, whenever students were protesting, saying that no, we need more money, and I said, I was never, not even once, part of any protest, though I needed money to study.
They would call you a snitch.
You know, this is the reason why. For me, it was like, you know what? My parents, yes, they grew up in apartheid South Africa. Yes, they were marginalized, right? But amongst the students here, there's a lot, even in my extended family, right? there's a lot of parents, a lot of children whose parents, same age as my parents, are educated. They've got jobs, they are teachers, they are nurses, you understand? So, and my parents were not, they were blue-collar workers, right? So, when I was conceived, the government was not there cheering on. You understand? No, go guys, we're going to take care of you. Whatever. Understand? Yeah. No, they were not. So, for me, it was a matter of, the people who gave back to me, you understand, did not plan for me. You understand? And not only that, I was even late, right? Because I only did my first year in 2005. Even though I did my matric in 2000. You understand? So all these years, the question is, were my parents not ambitious enough to try to think that, they need to provide? One day I would want to go to tertiary. You understand? So for me, I was like, you know what? The system owes me nothing. The system owes me nothing. Nobody owes me anything. Yes. You understand? The people who owe me is my parents, who are supposed to. And when they cannot, I don't blame them. I man up and look for ways to make things happen for myself. Yes. You understand? So can you imagine if every black, kid coming from the township, assessing your situation, you realize that the situation is actually not good. It's bad. It's hopeless, right? Now, what can I do about that? What can I do about that? So I knew when I was doing N1, 2, and 3, and 4, I knew that I needed to have a basara. So I studied, even though I didn't get a basara for my first year, right? But I made a point that I always pass so that I can increase my chances. One, I couldn't afford to fail because one, I was late. Number two, I wanted a basara. So when I got my in-service training, I worked my butt off in that company. They paid for my third year. They paid for my third year. Wow. You understand? So there's and there's thousands of people who've got stories like me, who saw that the situation is hopeless. Let's do something about this. You understand? Because if somebody gave me money, it was not going to help me to think outside the box. You understand? Sometimes by helping, you are actually killing.
You know what? In what you're saying, I was listening to this guy. He said that tough times produce a stronger man, but soft times produces a weaker man. You are who you are today because you grew up in tough situations. Your parents, he even said that the best thing that has ever happened to him, I'm not sure who was saying this, the best thing that has ever happened to him, it was because one day his parents decided to have sex. And there was him. That's the best thing ever. If his parents, they've decided not to on that day, chances he was not going to be conceived. But his parents decided to make love on that day, and there he was. Guess what? That's the best thing, because now there you are. The next thing, no one owes you anything, including your parents, including the environment, including anyone. Every person, this thing that Lonobo is saying, especially in the township, will always believe that maybe my parents owes me something. As a result, because I believe that my parents owes me something, I end up not doing anything. And if you were to listen to most of the people that have not made it in life, all of them, they've got someone to blame by themselves. It's someone else's fault. Like the question you wanted to ask me about why did I drop out? That chap decided. That chap decided, instead of giving me the money, he was given the money at his work, said that, okay, give this money to Nzela to go to tertiary to register. And he decided to chow that money. Yes. As a result, I couldn't continue with my studies. I had to drop out at my tertiary at second year. Do I blame him? No. I could have sit down and said that, oh, this chap robbed me of my future. I could have said my parents robbed me of my future. I could have blamed the community. I could have blamed so many people. But I decided not to blame anyone. Because if you were to listen to all the guys that have made it in life, they've never blamed anyone. And as a result, most of the people that are successful is people that are self-made. It's not people who are the second generation or the third generation. As a result, I was listening to this chap say that tough times and soft times, sometimes those children that inherited money from their parents, chances that if your dad was successful, the third generation would be the flop, because soft times produces a weaker man. But most of the people that grew up in tough situation, they end up being the 1% of successful people in the world.
You know, like what you're saying, also together with what you're saying, is like, a caterpillar, goes through a cocoon season before it can fly like a butterfly. So what happens is that when it's still in a caterpillar, it's trying to break through the cocoon. It pushes. And it's said that if you could find a caterpillar trying to break through the cocoon, and you'd go open the cocoon, because you can, and to help it, that's the worst thing ever, because it will never be able to fly.
Yes.
Apparently, when it's pushing to the cocoon, it's sending blood through the vessels that enables flying. And so it breaking through the cocoon actually means it's now able to fly. And so, how many of life do we try to sort of, it's like someone else can come and break this cocoon for me. But if they do that, and one day I think I did a video on Facebook and say not all help is helpful.
True. Yes.
Because if you help someone through that cocoon season, they'll never be able to fly.
True.
So yeah.
The same thing. If you were to do a study and go back to all the charity organizations and ask them, out of the people that they've given out food or help or whatsoever, how many people that have made it in life out of that? Because if most of the people that are in a charity organization, because I know that someone else is going to bring food, I don't have to do anything. But if I'm out there on the street and I know if I don't wake up and do something today, chances I might go to bed without food. But if I know there is a charity organization that even if I didn't have food tonight, the following morning there's a charity organization that's going to bring food. Am I going to be motivated to do more? No. I'm not going to be looking for food. I'm not going to be searching for anything because I know something is coming for free.
So like in closing, we can probably talk about empowerment then. So therefore, those who make it, their responsibility then is to empower. But then we need to understand what empowerment means. Because now to empower, like we have black empowerment stuff, it means now go back and give it. And
I wouldn't even call it responsibility.
Okay.
They don't have to. You understand? But,
it's a noble thing to do.
It's a noble thing to do.
Okay.
You understand?
Which needs to be applauded if it's done.
Exactly.
Okay. Because if it's a must, then you shouldn't applaud.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I feel you. But then can you talk about empowerment as opposed to charity then, if you put it that way?
So, empowerment is a difficult one. But I think let's talk about empowerment on our next session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next session, we'll be talking about
empowerment.
Thank you.
Yeah. I also want to hear that story. That guy Child Mziata is money. Hey, yeah, we must find that guy.